Damn it, Discord. It did the thing where it blanked out the clap, so I just have to assume they happened.
Mine happened, yeah.
I clapped, yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Radio. I gotta decide if I'm gonna leave that in. It is April 23rd, 2026. Now I have to because I didn't give the full intro again. Mm-hmm. I am James Jones. I'm joined today by John Lindeman.
It's great to be here. Stay rebellious, James.
Microsoft employee John Lindeman here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Is plotting the future of Xbox. Greg is out this week for the NFL draft, as is his tradition, so we are joined today by Mr. Ron McNulty.
At our best, we core before more.
Hey, you gotta outwork the problem, am I right?
Can we just read the Spider-Man email again? Let's just do that. Because at least that's funny. This is like
This is funny. Yeah.
This is every agile coach I've ever had to deal with.
What are you talking about? Speed is learning and makers over managers.
For some context, go to news.xbox.com and read the Xbox 10 Commandments that were just posted.
It's called We Are Xbox, and it is one of the funniest internal emails I've seen.
You are Xbox, all right. I can confirm that.
I have had... So some of these almost exact quotes from they'd hire a consultant / agile coach to come in and be like, we're gonna go after what really makes this place vibrant, makes this place feel alive, and that's our creators. And I'm like, I'm not a creator. I get a problem and I solve problems. Like, no, you're a creator. You're not a problem solver. You're a problem solution. You're the solution. And I'm like, I already want to die. Can we stop this, please?
Yes.
And by the end, they're handing out a book they expect you to read overnight, and it's 400 pages of just slop. And it's like, why do I have to read this tonight? Is this going to change my life? And the answer is yes, because if you can teach people to do this, you could become the CEO of a Microsoft sub-company. Congratulations to all parties involved.
All you need to know is that one of their service goals is to beat the speed of light and make cloud play feel native, fast, and reliable across TVs and low-cost devices. How do you make cloud play feel native? I don't know. Beat the speed of light.
Disagree. The answer is very simple. You make native feel slower.
Yeah, you just arbitrarily put a throttle in.
Yeah, see? You come at it with this pessimistic attitude of you can't beat the speed of light. I come at it with the solution. You make the experience indistinguishable, making the other experience worse. This is how you solve the problem.
So when are you going to reevaluate your approach to windowing?
I hate Windows and have not the operating system. I hate Windows in general. So I have been in the process of bricking them all up in my house. So about 2 years ago.
Right after we re-examine exclusivity. Okay. So.
I exclusively live in a bunker.
Yeah, but don't worry because we can always Chuck's notes use M&A. The thing that has clearly worked so well for Xbox.
Microsoft, my bunker is available for $100 million.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a steal in this market.
Have you considered that steal a brain rot in Roblox is competing directly with scale and quality with Forza?
I mean, I've seen some of the art in Forza, so at a micro scale, yes. At a macro scale, no. And by that, I mean I have driven that art, as John Lindeman can attest.
Yes, you absolutely have. Into the ground, my friend.
I have had more than one car have its art revoked for being a little too Robloxian.
So who's your favorite Italian brain rot character?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be Tung Tung Sahur, obviously.
Oh, you mean Tung 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 Sahur? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. I understand the idea. I had somebody who actually understands the origin of that thing explain it to me. Mm-hmm. And it's I want to say it was Indonesia, because I believe they're Indonesian. It's this is about, breaking the fast and stuff. You just make this noise, tell people it's good now. And I'm like, how does that turn into this? And the answer is, there's, 8 layers of memes rotting over the internet.
You go through telephone, and then you go to TikTok. And, if there's one thing that listeners to RFN all know about, it's Italian brain rot.
It's filing their retirement paperwork, so they're all old as shit at this point.
I was gonna say the average age of listener of this podcast is like 65. And
it's younger than me, or older than me probably, which is funny, but not much.
I'm here to tell you that there's an app on the thing in your pocket called a smartphone. It's called TikTok, and when you open it, it's going to show you political things to try and make you angry. And when kids see it, they hear AI songs about someone being so talented on a calculator that it makes them Epstein.
Great.
I don't have a lot of interaction with children anymore, which sounds worse than I intended to. I used to work in and around school, so I had more interaction with kids, and like it was like, oh, okay, the kids are fine, I guess. I'm no longer confident that's the case, and I'm pretty sure we're at fault, so that's cool. It was like, oh, kids, they're so stupid. No, we fucked them up pretty bad. We did it. It's us. We did this. This is our fault.
Yeah.
Like the unrestricted access to media that the young brain is absolutely never supposed to come into contact with.
Oh, yeah.
There are no native defenses.
I mean, I grew up on the internet. I fully was exposed. It's just it wasn't weaponized the same way.
These kids have not developed the antibodies.
And you know how we developed the antibodies? Because it took like 6 minutes for an image to download onto our PC, so we had time. We didn't get a video in like a microsecond, and we're like, oh, now I'm watching this fucking bullshit. Oh my god! If you've never done it, get a browser that has a built-in A, private mode, and B, VPN. At like Opera has one, and just set that up, and then go to YouTube and just click through shit. Just click through shit. So it'll be fully clean because they still track you even if you're in private mode. This makes it even harder for them to track you, so you could probably get away with it. And it will not take you long to just be served absolute fucking trash. Now, the trick is you have to search, because when you start out, the page is completely empty. You have to search for something that a kid might search for.
Peppa Pig.
Yeah, that'll do it. And you'll get to some fucked up shit pretty fast.
Yeah, it'll take you 3 clicks before you're seeing stuff that should not be on YouTube Kids under any circumstances.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But do it. It's like try different terms and see what you get, because you won't get the same stuff. You'll get through some weird permutations. I think the best example I had of that, I can't remember what I searched for, but it was something fairly anodyne. And within about 4 was I hit a live stream that was in the person speaking was Southeast Asian. But I couldn't tell what language it was in. But the stream had been live for like 41 hours. I'm like, what the fuck?
One of my favorite rabbit holes to go down. I will not name this website because I do not want it to get too much traffic because it is my special place. But there is a website that that filters YouTube down and will serve you random videos. And the 2 filters it uses are, 1, does it have a file name as the video title?
Oh, good.
And 2, does it have fewer than 2 views?
Oh no. Which is impressive, because when you upload a video, like, it almost always takes you there unless you leave. So like that's 1.
Yes. No, it's all home videos.
Yeah, it's like 240-48-04 MOV.
Or it'll be like home videos as in stuff that has been converted from VHS tapes or camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It is a fascinating way to unwind, and you never know what you'll see. And one time I saw someone hunting.
There you go. Yeah.
And
no, that checks out.
Saw more violence to those animals than I expected to in the first 3 seconds of that video.
Yeah, no, that checks out. I did once stumble across a video that was just people hunting birds with buckshot, or with shot that was way too big for the bird.
No.
It was just like, what the fuck, you two? Why is this here?
Anyways,
Yeah,
I'm allegedly not here to just talk about internet brain rot, but
no, it's fine. I mean, John, people. So, like, look, if you weren't here, people were going to get a J and J DreamFactory episode, and like that's. I mean, premier brain rot.
It's not our fault. This Xbox letter just threw everything off.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
to be clear,
it's such a rabbit hole.
When I was reading this out loud to James when John Lindemann joined the call, and I believe your first sentence was, some of the biggest recent hits are coming from small teams or even single creators, and places like Roblox are producing experiences that rival major franchises in scale.
I mean, so the scale is doing interesting lifting there, because you can say that.
Yes.
Yeah, like it can't be about the game itself, because it's like, get a high top fade it was a big thing on Roblox for a long time. I want to make it clear to the people who are listening who don't have children and understand what this game was. This game was literally, you stand in line, and at the end of the line is a barber shop that gave your Roblox character a high top fade. You might think that sounds really stupid, and you'd be right. But there's a mechanic in the game where you could pay the game to cut in line, and people were doing it. They were paying Robux to cut in line, meaning, largely speaking, you almost never got forward in line unless you were paying. You oftentimes were going backwards. And it became the meme game on Roblox. It rivaled in scale. It had thousands of people playing it. There was another one that was one of my all-time favorites, which was, you got to dress up your character, and then you went out there and the other players voted on who had the best look. I think it was called Dress to Impress. And
that's one of the biggest games.
It basically just turned into people who were like playing it together, going in there and always voting for each other to get the credit for winning. This is such an obviously
there's
nakedly...
something I need you to understand about Steal a Brain Rot, which is the big game right now.
Yeah.
Peak concurrent, 25 million players.
Which is just stupid.
It's just insane, yeah.
Currently playing right now, 198,000 on a random Thursday night in the US. So what you do in this game is you get a brain rot, and it starts earning passive income for you in-game. And you walk through a bunch of switches, just a bunch of buttons on the floor, and you just walk through them, and it will earn you passive income, except some of them are pop-up ads. because the developer has put pop-up ads for experience multipliers in the middle of the progression.
I freaking love this shit.
And they look the same. Also, your brain rot, like the high value brain rots, can be worth hundreds of dollars. And you keep them in your home. And if someone on your squad is not monitoring them 24/7, someone could just come in and take them. It is called Steal a Brain Rot.
Yep, that's why it's called that. It is the personification of all of my apes gone.
Yes, it is all of my apes gone, the game, except instead of apes, it is Italian brain rot characters such as Tum 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 Sahur, as James has pointed out, who is now, for some reason, in Fortnite, because they had to put a couple brain rot characters in Fortnite for the Fortnite, for the UEFN.
To get the Gen Alpha kids?
No, for the user-generated content, because now there's a Steal a Brain Rot in Fortnite that I have seen advertised on the actual PlayStation Store.
God help us.
Epic Games has paid X amount of real dollars to put an ad on the PlayStation Store at the top above games like Saros, which is the upcoming first-party Sony game, that for user-generated Steal a Brain Rot ripoff.
So who do you pay for Tong 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 Sahur? Because, like, nobody owns it.
The person who originated the AI, one would guess. Oh. Because it's AI generated.
But, like, arguably, you can't...
you can't copyright it.
Yeah. So, like, the answer might be you don't gotta pay a goddamn cent to anybody.
Yeah, potentially.
One of the other most popular games in Roblox, by the way, is stop me if you've heard this before. 99 Nights in the Forest. Guess what? It's a combination.
Yeah. God.
Roblox. Like, here's the thing. Our audience. I know there are members of audience who understand Roblox, who are extremely aware of what Roblox is and how it works, and like GX has talked about it in our Discord before. Most of our audience isn't going to be aware because they're not old enough to listen to the show. Roblox is probably an existential threat to some video gaming companies.
Oh,
because
is this where we want to do our pivot?
I mean, we may as fucking well. It is a like the challenge with, if you are a company making particularly service games, is the economy you're going after isn't money, it's time. Like, you're trying to get time. And time ultimately turns into money. Like, people spend money on you because they've invested time in the game, not the other way around. They don't invest time in the game because they put money into it. Because consumers have this wonderful habit of, once they've spent the money, they kind of forget that they spent the money, unless they feel scammed. So, like, if they've put the money into the game to get in the door, it doesn't guarantee they're going to actually play it. So with these service games, it's really about trying to get them to play it and then reinvest, or even invest the first time. A lot of these service games don't have an opening gambit price. And so
here's a great example for our listeners. Pokemon Champions launched about 2-3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, roughly.
This is the Pokemon esports game. This is the game that was primarily developed so that there could be a centerpiece piece of software for competitive Pokemon, which is an international league that
rather than it being whatever the most recent Pokemon game.
Rather than saddling Game Freak with designing all of their games to also be a competitive esport.
Yeah,
they essentially took Ilka, the company that made Pokemon Home, and had them go in and make a cross-platform battle sim that is not Pokemon Showdown. It is a little more restrictive because it's a specific format and yada yada yada. But they made this, and it's free, and it's a free-to-play thing, and you can get through the entire thing without paying. But there's a battle pass, and there's a subscription service, and the subscription service really just essentially gives you the ability to have unlimited Pokemon.
Isn't it really just the Home subscription service again?
No. There's Home, which allows you to bring in your Pokemon. Home is core game to Home to Champions.
Oh, okay.
Then there is internally, you can have X number of Pokemon in Champions at any one time, and X number gets multiplied by like 15 or something if you pay for the Champion subscription. And then the other thing is there's a battle pass that you can pay for, like, I think it was like $6, and it gives you more cosmetic rewards, gives you a couple Pokemon that if you don't have the other games you might want, and these aren't rental Pokemon, etc. It's like, this isn't like new business. I'm not going to get super into it, but my point is, Pokemon Champions launches. I'm guessing a lot of people buy that first battle pass. The big question, if you're the Pokemon company, is not how many people buy the first battle pass, it's how many people buy the second and third battle pass.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if someone buys battle pass 1, 2, and 3, you can start making financial projections about them. You can't make financial projections based on Battle Pass 1. Battle Pass 1 tells you a lot of people downloaded it at launch, including people who were not necessarily price sensitive.
Right.
Yeah. It's really what happens when the enthusiasm wears off, right? The novelty is gone.
What is your stable paying user rate?
Yeah.
You
see this with EA games specifically. It's funny you mentioned this because, EAFC basically, that's, pretty much it's every year it's this cycle where everybody's like, oh, it's a new EAFC game, FIFA. And then by the end, everybody's like, this is absolute trash. And so now what they're doing with their battle pass is they're packaging them as for 3 months you can get like a little bit of a discounted price if you buy the next 3 battle passes.
Oh,
it's
Jesus
like,
Christ.
tell me that your game is doing poorly without telling me your game is doing poorly.
I mean, that's a way to juice numbers on a spreadsheet. Like that's all that is. But yeah, it's interesting. That's where things are going. So when I originally was talking to James about coming on for RFN, it's funny, we were starting to talk about this 2 months ago, back just when I got back from DICE, because for those who don't know, if this is your first time listening to me, my name's Syrenne and I work in the games industry. I've been on the development and publishing side for a lot of years now. I do a lot of things I can't talk about. One thing I can talk about is that I have a new job. And my new job is, I do, among other things, biz dev at a company called Plastic Fern, who you probably don't know, and you might never know outside of knowing that I work there. We do co-development, porting, and QA. So we work with a bunch of primarily indie teams, bring games to consoles, etc. Last time I was on the podcast, I talked about how I was working on a game called Dispatch, which since blew up. I was the project lead on the PS5 version of Dispatch. That work was through Plastic Fern. So, codev in this industry needs to have the finger on the pulse, because it is not just about where the wind is blowing. It's also about who has money and who's investing. Not because we're trying to get that investment, but because the people with the investment are the most likely people to become clients for us. Because someone will need, like, we're a contractor, so someone needs to have the money to pay a contractor, right? So, I've been running around the industry for the last few months, taking every meeting, trying to get my sense, put my ear to the ground. Where are things going? How are things going? I was in New York in January. I was in Vegas for DICE in February, which is kind of an executive leadership function, more or less. There's people who are not executives there, but it is like largely an executive leadership function. This is the only conference that you can just walk up to Mark Cerny and ask, do you want to have coffee? And he'll just say, yeah. And then you could just sit down and talk about whatever. That's DICE. Then I was at GDC in San Francisco in March. And then next month I'm going to be in Kyoto for Bit Summit. I'm just traveling all over, collecting miles and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in this industry, because that is what everyone is trying to figure out. Is what is this capital S, capital I state of the industry? And it is so much worse than you think it is. It is so bad out here that publishers are asking for double to triple A quality games with a budget of $1 million.
So do they mean that in terms of just like the product? Could you make a very, very small game with that kind of production?
No.
And
what they want is a game that is 95% done.
Oh, I see. And so that $1 million is basically get you over the finish line money.
Yeah. They don't want to invest more than $1 million, but they want something at Expedition 33 is a good example.
But if I'm that far along, why would I even want to bring anybody else in? It's my money.
Because of the attention economy. The gamble is,
I see.
Do you think that if you fucking partner with, I'm not gonna name names because I've actually been talking to people, but
yeah,
imagine an indie publisher. There's 50 of them that people could probably, listeners could probably name 5. James, you could probably name 50. Imagine an indie publisher, just anyone. Do you think your game that you've been working on for 5 years has a better chance of visibility if you partner with them? Because if the publisher might have warmer contact at first parties that could get you into an indie presentation. They might have a community manager. They might have an inbuilt Discord with and like marketing channels and mailing list and streamer contacts and like this is what publishing is now becoming. Publishing now has just become
it's PR.
I will increase your chance at success.
So this would be like a Devolver then, where it's like
you're saying names.
Well, I understand that. I'm saying names, but you'd be like, okay, they have a social media presence that is undeniably has reach. They have contacts, people who have played games for them before that they could go like, hey, you want a copy of this?
They do.
They have contacts at the platform holders they can talk to if there's problems that they can work through. They know how to make deals to get better listings on storefronts that we could work through.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. And so it really comes down to then if you've got a game that multiple people want, I guess you're trying to evaluate who gives you the best chance rather than who gives you the best money.
If you have a game that multiple people want, then you are a miracle child and probably don't need a publisher.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
No, publishers are getting about 1,500 to 1 in terms of pitches versus signed games.
Ah, I see.
Think about how many games... Okay, I know we joke a lot, and this is rightfully so, about the state of the eShop. The state of discovery is a nightmare. So
the state of the eShop is fraught.
So... think about it this way. Because I know, James, that you look through the eShop all the time. Mostly...
every single day.
Mostly just to see what fresh hell has been unleashed.
There was a game yesterday called Poop Game.
Yes. In between...
Poopy Time. My mistake.
In between what Valve once coined as game-shaped objects...
yeah.
And games like Pragmata that are big marketing budget, right?
Yeah, big game, big marketing budget, expensive.
Yes. There are... I mean, there's also, like... let's actually go down a tier. In between that and a Hades 2.
Yeah.
A game that is big and has been in presentations and people in the Discord know about and they're excited about, right?
And it has name recognition because it's Hades 2, not Hades 1.
Yes, but it's a developer that people know. It's a franchise. It's like all that stuff, right? Very, very discoverable.
Yes.
And scam. Let's put scam in quotes.
Okay.
That's a huge gulf between, right?
Yeah.
How many games would you, James Jones, guess in a month come out on the Switch eShop for Switch 1 that are real games that you've never heard of before?
That I've never heard of, knowing what I go through? Probably real games. I'm defining real very, very liberal here.
Yes, real games.
I would say 30. I don't know.
Okay.
I would say for me, it's probably closer to 40.
Okay.
And again, that's me going to the eShop every single day.
Yes. So there's 30 to 40 games.
That I don't even, like, Art Dink put out a game about being underwater earlier this month.
Yes. So, follow-up question to both of you. How many of those in the last month have you bought?
Zero. Absolutely.
One.
Negative zero.
One. I bought one.
Yeah.
Okay. Therein lies the situation.
And the reality of the situation is I'll probably end up buying two because there's another one that I have an eye on. But like
I would consider you on a graph, on a chart that I would make for work.
Yeah.
Deeply engaged.
Yes.
You are all the way on the right of engagement.
Yeah, like Drop Duchy was the one that I grabbed.
Oh, okay, I want to be clear. Drop Duchy is like an all-timer.
Oh yeah, I know. But again, like I didn't know about it. But it met the criteria of game I don't know.
No, for sure. I will say I'm a little sad that that must have meant that I didn't rave to you about it. But
which is fine.
Yeah, that's
but
another.
At the same time, you know what else came out the same day as Drop Duchy? And I know this cold.
Yeah.
My Winter Drive. I wonder what that's based on.
Yep.
that day in particular, I remember having a day where I'm like, I used to stream this. I would go online and just go like, all right, let's pull up the fucking eShop and let's just deal with this bullshit. It is an emotional roller coaster every time. Because like you'll run into something, and again, I believe this was the same day, and I'm doing this from memory, so bear with me. I believe the game was called For the Luna Bell Tolls. What the fuck does that even mean? Like you took a phrase that people know and just jammed another word in there, and that looked like a relatively real game compared to the shit that came out the same day as it.
So this is my point: is
what
hope do those games have?
None.
And therein lies the industry.
Yes.
This is where the vast majority of resources are going. I'm not saying the vast majority of games are coming to the Switch eShop. They're not.
No.
They're coming to mobile and they're coming to Steam and etc. But using the Switch eShop as a very, very curated, and it is, ecosystem.
Relatively speaking.
This is so much more curated than if you manage to find the page on Steam that says all.
Oh, yeah, because I found it, and it was a fucking... So the reason I end up going to this is I kind of get a kick out of just, like, as you referred to them, the game-shaped objects. Because there's always this, like, mental arithmetic I'm doing that the average consumer isn't, which is, like, what are they trying to sell this with? What is the algorithm that has fired off here that led to this game's existence? Because my winter drive is just my summer car, obviously. And if you go look at the game, you're like, well, this isn't my summer car because my summer car was made by a Finn with Finnish tendencies making this game. This is made by somebody assembling assets. And so it's not capable of being the absolutely unhinged thing that is. But you can see the math of how that thing came into being. It's actually a little bit less naked than some of the bullshit that's out there. But other times you just get stuff where you sit there and I look at it and go, I don't understand at all what the algorithm was here. What was the plan? What was the goal? But if you open up the Steam store, that's maybe... I'm going to say 15% of the Switch stuff where I just look at it and go I don't understand I'm not sure this is a scam because I can't figure out what the scam would have been.
Yes. And so I said, deeply, deeply engaged.
If you open the Steam store, that's 40% of just what was even the...
That shit never filters to users because the Steam store auto corrects. Yes.
And to be clear, Nintendo tries to hide the show me everything in release order list. I just happen to have the URL bookmarked.
Yes, the website does not want you to find it.
No, because you get kickback clicker.
So, yes.
Because they know, because all the platform holders know.
Oh, they know. But you look at that, and listener, I encourage you to do this. To go through and find the real games. Just try one, please. I'm not, statistically, I have no idea who worked on it. This isn't me trying to give my friends money.
Right.
Try one. But the other thing is, because people, broadly speaking, are not going to, most of these games that are real probably have years and years of labor put into them, and then gone like a whisper in the night, because the attention economy is so unbelievably fucked. When I was at DICE, a lot of the conversations were... It's funny comparing DICE to GDC. For people who don't know, GDC is a significantly larger event. It takes up the entirety of the Moscone Center in San Francisco, which is multiple buildings, multiple floors, multiple buildings, and then a park nearby. The Yerba Buena Gardens. You might have seen some discourse about that this year. It's a whole thing not worth getting into on this podcast. DICE is 4 rooms in one hallway of a casino hotel.
Yeah.
DICE is very intimate.
Yeah, that was the word I was going to use. That every person I've ever spoke to who's been to DICE describes it basically using that word.
So you basically see everyone. It's funny because there's one person that I was looking for that I didn't see. And I'm like, where the fuck was Jeff Gerstmann? But everyone else I was looking for, I saw. So the thing about DICE is a lot of the conversations were about things like the attention economy. The attention economy kept coming up. The state of money lending came up a lot.
Oh God!
The state of macroeconomics, and then for GDC, the questions were very, very like the questions on everyone's lips were very, very practical. The questions were, the fuck is going on with Microsoft, because Project Helix was like teased right before this, and everyone was like, oh well, they have a panel on Wednesday morning, and they have explicitly not booked any appointments on Monday and Tuesday. And
which is weird.
They rented out half of one of the halls, the lobbies, and the lobby just said, come back Wednesday with some curtains.
Good Lord.
And so it was like, okay, yeah, they're going to talk about the future. And it was like, the keynote was like the future, and the speaker was the VP of Next Generation at Xbox, which is a hell of a title.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, everyone can piece together what's going to happen at this, and sure enough, that's where they talked about it. But so that was one of the questions. Another question was, the fuck is going on with AI?
Yeah, that's a fair question, because I can tell you right now, as somebody who is in an industry that uses it heavily and is asked to use it, I don't know either.
Another question was, what the fuck is up with RAM?
Also a valid question.
Like GDC was like, all the questions were deeply, deeply practical
and troubling.
Right.
Very troubling.
It's when you get a bunch of indie developers in a room and they're talking about RAM, that's like real bad, right?
That's dark. That is dark.
But DICE was a lot more big picture. I will say that DICE was a very pivoted. It pivoted really hard. And I can tell you the exact moment. And I believe I messaged you this, Jays, almost as it was happening. So I've been walking around a lot, and DICE is in Vegas, and if you don't know Vegas, they're pumping shit into the air vents constantly.
Yeah.
They're pumping stimulants to keep you awake. And, which feels illegal, except they made their own laws because they built a city out in the desert so that they could make their own laws.
It is an affront. Las Vegas's very existence is a middle finger to God.
Oh, Las Vegas is my least favorite city on the planet. But
it is explicitly a place that, if you believe in divine design, is like, don't live here.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, we're gonna build a big fucking city here that takes up more water than the average city. Fuck you, God.
Yeah, we're gonna steal water from impoverished cities, from impoverished neighborhoods and tribes, and then we're just gonna shoot it through a fountain in a desert so it evaporates. Fuck you.
It is man's hubris given form. It is remarkable in the degree to which it is like nature. Fuck nature. We got that shit beat.
This is going to be the most impractical city ever. Let's go.
Only beaten by Riyadh.
Go look at where every city was built for the first 6,000 years of cities, and you'll find a river. Las Vegas is like, fuck that. We want to be as far from a river as possible.
Yes. So, anyways, so my body is like acting up. So I'm just taking a break between meetings, and I'm sitting there, and I'm checking my phone, and someone is checking their phone next to them, and they sat down next to me, and it's like, just some benches out in the hallway. It's whatever. I'm not paying much mind. I don't have AirPods in because this is the kind of event where people will just come up and say hi. About 5 minutes into it, someone sprints up. And so I look up and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And they go to the person next to me and they say, I'm so fucking sorry. I'm like, what happened? And they said, what? And they said, did you survive the layoff? And then they checked their phone.
No!
And they couldn't get in. Because they were on the high guard team.
Oh, no.
This happened at exactly the midpoint of DICE.
Damn.
Oh, my God.
So DICE was two events. It was pre-high guard, post-high guard.
Jesus.
So, by the way, being there, and knowing a lot of people, and you're with all the people that know people, and like the financiers are here, and like CEOs are here, it turns out, and I will not say things because I ended up finding out more information than was reported. By the end of that event, I knew everything that happened with Highguard and why funding was pulled. Because you're just in a hallway with everyone.
Right. Like, there's no privacy either.
Yeah,
so, like,
and so I just started walking around and pulling on threads. And I was like, I heard this. What do you know? And by the end of it, I just kind of figured out the whole story. And it is, I will tell you, not every detail has been reported, and it is more horrifying than you think. And it has nothing to do with concurrent player numbers at all.
That's not surprising.
It has literally zero to do with it. So...
But there's a weird and this loops back to the attention economy though, and why people would assume it is the concurrent players, because it feels like it's very hard, and it has happened. I want to be clear, it has happened that a game that is totally predicated on how long can we keep you engaged and remonetizing your engagement. It has happened that a game has come out after the fact and turns it around. But it's rare, and it's hard,
I will
and it
highlight
costs more money.
That for Highguard, they never got to the point of remonetization.
Right.
Because it was not out for long enough to remonetize.
Yeah, it was the initial monetization strike, and then no opportunity to actually earn more money.
Or to keep players. Like, the test of a live service game is how many people are playing at the beginning of season 1 if you launched with 0, or 2 if you launched with 1.
Right. Like, holding somebody for the first window is what you have to test. Not like what did you start with. But if let's say you start and you come out of the gate weak.
Oh, I mean, that's hard.
It's a bad sign, but it can be fixed, but it probably can't be fixed without investment.
Yeah. I like I said, there's like,
I understand that's not the Highguard case, but that's why you see these games come out, and then like they kind of come out. They don't necessarily limp out of the gate, but they don't burst out of the gate either.
Many
and it's
games that like soft launch. Like the one I point to is remember that Zynga Star Wars Hunters game?
Yeah, I played it. Remember, I talked about it.
Oh yeah, that was soft launched on mobile in Australia for 2.5 years before it came out.
That's bonkers. That's like we're gonna test this thing forever.
Yeah, no, they were tweaking it every month. They were fine tuning like everything about it, and then they launched, and then it didn't go well.
Yeah, because it's not very fun.
Because they fine tuned it within an inch of its life, but it still wasn't able to survive.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where they probably would have come out ahead if they just launched it in whatever the original alpha state was and just said like, it's rusty as shit. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe, but or maybe not. It's hard. Gamers are right now. The attention return is so hard, and that was another big topic at DICE. Is like player re-engagement.
Yeah,
is so volatile right now. An example. This is a public example. I can just speak to this. This is a personal example. Actually, I'm gonna spin this back around. John, you've played Destiny 2, right?
Yes, not for a long time, but yes, I have.
Why would you say that you had taken a long break?
Because it was a complete content rehash treadmill.
What do you think would happen if you came back after 6 months?
Do
you feel like you would have been caught up still?
No, absolutely not. You have to relearn the whole game pretty much and determine what the meta is, and you have to.
All your equipment would be useless.
Yeah, all of it would be useless. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I've had this happen recently. You know, the stakes are much lower, but I've gone. Actually, ironically, you should mention that because I've gone back to the original Destiny because Destiny 2. I have no desire to try to even relearn all of the new systems and figure out what the new dungeons are or whatever they've added, or reinvest in like yet another battle pass sort of thing.
Exactly. So
yes.
So that re-engagement, it feels like you're shut out of it, right?
It just feels like it would. Like I would have to set aside time to even figure out where the heck to figure out what I'm even doing.
So
exactly.
It's basically you can't check in, check out seasonally. Is what you're saying.
So
not really.
So imagine being a game designer. You are working at Bungie, and in this hypothetical scenario, they're still putting enough resources into Destiny 2 that this is a valid question. What do you do for your next deliverable, for your next milestone, your next build that's going to go out? Do you work to improve the player retention experience or the returning player experience?
I mean, you are going to do whatever makes you money, because that is the only thing keeping you afloat. And it's not
right, but like even if both theoretically could make you money, do you give new content for the players that are currently there, or the content, or try and re-engage past players? And the answer, 9 times out of 10, is the players that are currently there, because then they won't drop off, and you're trying you're trying to pinch the funnel as hard as you can.
They're the bird in the hand versus two in the bush right now,
and it sometimes really is that binary of putting in resources. Like, if you are going to pay for 1 month of people labor, does that 1 month of people labor go towards increasing the value of the players that are still with you, or increasing the value and the enticement of returning players?
Right.
So player re-engagement is just like, because labor is so high, like labor cost is so high. Right. So you have to, because cost of living has gone up, because generally inflation, and I have a whole spiel about landlords and yada, 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 but like, broadly speaking, wages should keep up with inflation. They don't, therefore, yada, yada, yada. So what you get is, if you are if you're a lead producer on a project, and you're looking at this spreadsheet, and you have the two models in front of you, you are not going for re-engagement. And if you're not going for re-engagement, your players are not going to re-engage. And if your players are not going to re-engage, then that funnel has one shape. That does not become a sine wave of player engagement. That becomes an ever-decreasing line, asymptotally approaching zero.
A regression.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting, though, is this isn't a new question. Like MMOs used to have this thing all the time when they would launch new seasons, and they'd see the spike and they'd drop back down. And it seems to me, at least, that they did design for this. That they designed for, we want this content to be able to bring people back so they can catch up.
Yeah. And Destiny 2 had expansions.
Yeah, and it feels like that's fine when you're doing something big, because you can plan for, here's the treadmill to get you back up to speed.
Oh, yeah. Final Fantasy 14, for example. The way that it works is it has big expansions every couple years. We're recording this legitimately the day before the next expansion gets announced.
Yeah.
Where they're about to tomorrow, as we record this, they're about to detail the next 3 years of content, which is exciting. And so the way it works is they put out an expansion, and for people who don't play it because they, like me, don't want to play an MMO, I will just tell you, each expansion is essentially a 70-hour single-player JRPG that is up there at the top of Final Fantasy quality. It's just a single-player game, 70 hours, and then you play through that. And that is like your re-engagement spike. And what players do for the next 3 years is every 6 to 8 months, they will drop a massive new story, story detail. They'll basically run a small amount of story between expansions that is like the epilogue to the last one and the prologue to the next one. And then there's content grind, and you can grind out better and better gear. But when the new expansion comes out, there will usually just be an NPC that gives you right at the front, here's gear that is high enough level for you to complete the last 3 years of grind, so that you don't have to do that grind, so that you can just get right to the new thing. Because if you don't have the gear, then you are probably not interested in that grind.
And they reset you. They also reset their, for lack of a better word, tutorial stuff to get you further and further into the expansions every time quickly.
Yeah, and then World of Warcraft is the same.
As a new player.
They'll give you armor, and then also they'll give you a token that says any character you want. You can bring it up to what the current starting point is.
Yeah, it's a weird iteration of the power creep, but also 14 has collapsed some of the work you have to do to get through the plot early on.
Oh yeah, like they revamped A Realm Reborn. It is still, I would still not call it great content, but it is way better than it used to be.
Yeah,
and then you play one of the best expansions, and then you play the racism expansion, and and by play it I mean you go to the Final Fantasy 14 online store and you pay to skip that expansion specifically, because there's one bad expansion and it's right in the middle.
But so you've got the treadmill you have your players on, and you're trying to keep them on it. But every other game that comes out from, I would say, 80% of the major publishers, it seems intent to also be a treadmill.
Yes.
And I guess the question would be, in these conversations, I understand the concept of the content treadmill, because you've got a player in, you get their initial down payment to play the game, whatever that is. And then the idea is that you can continuously remonetize that player month over month over month over month at much lower investment per dollar in from the player. So the amount of money you're spending to generate per dollar the player gives you is much lower than that initial investment, where you have the game development, you have the marketing, you have all that shit.
Let's call a spade. A modern AAA single player video game is going to start at about $300 million.
Is that published or developed in the West, or is that like, oh no, this is the price in Japan with its crazy low labor costs?
That is a transcontinental project.
Okay, so you're dealing with all different tiers of labor cost essentially.
If I were to throw out publisher names, that is an EA Ubisoft.
Okay. We used to joke that the sun never set on the ongoing Assassin's Creed game. That's no longer the case.
No, although they will happily sell you a $200 collector's edition for the Assassin's Creed 4 remake.
Good lord. There was a period of time where it was like, on every continent someone right now is making at any moment you could think, is someone making an Assassin's Creed game? And the answer is yes.
So 300 million. And I'm not talking about like the big games.
No, this is your introduction to AAA game.
Yeah. This is privileged information, and I do not have this information, but if I had to eyeball a guess, I would say Star Wars Outlaws is probably a $300 million game.
Oh, I can believe that, because you're also dealing with a relatively not finicky, not fickle. What's the word I want here? I can't remember the word I want here. But in the rights holder, you're dealing with someone who mercurial. Who is going to want very specific things.
Yes.
And that's hard.
Yeah. So that's just generally, like, if I had to guesstimate, and I've gotten distressingly good in the last 5 years at eyeballing a game and just saying a number and being plus or minus 5% Price is Right style on the budget. I've gotten, unfortunately, deeply good at Price is Right video game budgets. So I will say, take it with a grain of salt. Also, I'm very good at this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more like Price is Wrong, bitch. If I could.
The challenge here is, all right, for a lot of these games, they build their entire economic model off the idea that they're going to be able to remonetize the player base, and I wonder,
Star Wars Outlaws doesn't have microtransactions.
I understand. They're an exception to this.
I'm just saying, but like, if people want to look at single player games and understand, one thing I will say is that the players, and people are going to get angry at this, but this is this is the known reality. The players that primarily want single player games overlap in a Venn diagram about 80 to 90% with the players that want the most expensive and high production value games.
Yeah.
Outliers will be the listeners to this podcast, likely, because genuinely, almost the only outlier is the single-player game fan who primarily plays single-player Nintendo games.
Yeah, where excepting like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, you're dealing with a different beast altogether.
Prime 4 is the most expensive game Nintendo has ever produced and might ever produce.
Prime 4 has other factors involved in its priciness.
If I want to be clear, guesstimate, Prime 4 is also probably a $300 million game, and it was never intended to be.
No, because it was a 10-year odyssey.
That game is Austin, Texas senior engineer salaries.
Yeah. And keep in mind, that's not where that game started development. That game started development in Asia.
And that is for a game in the Metroid franchise.
Yeah. Definitely not what you want to spend $300 million on.
They did not spend $300 million on the most open Pokemon game or Mario game of all time.
Nope.
They spent it on an 8 to 10 hour Metroid game that has Zelda-like dungeons.
Yeah. It's a weird situation. Like that game ultimately is the management failure of a project.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they wish they never would have announced that game, because then they're like, oh my god.
Well, yeah,
we can't cancel this, because then we'll just hear about it forever.
That game became uncancelable.
Right. Yeah. And like it wouldn't necessarily have been, if they could have canceled, it wouldn't necessarily have been like Metroid Prime 4 never happens. It might have been they would have felt more comfortable killing everything in flight and taking a pause and coming back to it. Versus like, no, we have to keep this thing going.
That game could have paused during this entire economic turmoil.
Yes.
What is it? There's someone on Blue Sky that has, I think it was like the years of gaming hardship, or like the years of gaming misery, that are like describing 2027 to 2029. Like, get ready for your backlog.
But like shooting that to Retro and tying up Retro for years on it, as you said, with Austin, Texas salaries. Which, for those of you who don't understand, the development game salaries in Japan are very, very, very low. In fact, salaries in general in Japan are extraordinarily low.
I would describe the average Nintendo engineer salary at about $31,000 a year.
Which is crazy.
And I would describe Austin, Texas at about $120,000 a year.
Yeah. And keeping in mind that is at a discount for the level of senior engineer, that they are taking a much less than they could if they weren't making video games.
Oh yeah. Like, this is senior within the video game industry within the United States.
Right. Like those people could leave for another software development industry and probably get a $50,000 raise. No questions asked. Easy.
Yep.
So you're dealing with like by choice, I want to make that clear. Like these are engineers who have chosen to take less money to do something that they're more passionate about. But already at 3x, keeping in mind that the costs of employing a person in the United States are higher because there's other factors into it beyond just cash compensation.
Oh yeah, the American healthcare system.
Yeah, like insurance is not a thing that you necessarily pay for as an employer in Japan. Whereas I guarantee you all of Retro's employees at least had the option to buy insurance through Retro.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, like the cost proposition there is quite high. But if you were Nintendo trying to put Retro to good use, you might have put them on planning, assuming people were still there, for the Metroid game. And certainly they would have been involved in the development, but you would have offshored as much of that as you could, not because you don't want to hire people. Nintendo's actually not bad about that. But just because you want to get that game fucking done so you can get those expensive resources on the next project that's going to make money. It's about your opportunity costs of like, these people are making games for 6 years, whereas we would like to have gotten 2 games out, or at least gotten a game and a half out from them so you can get that money back more. Because they're Nintendo's most expensive asset.
They are the most expensive studio that Nintendo has, yes.
Yeah, and
I will say
the challenge.
I will say that they have 3 development studios in the US. They have Retro, they have Shiver, who you are never going to hear from again. Shiver's job is to port games to Switch and Switch 2.
Yep.
You might see them in credits.
They're probably also gonna write tooling to help with that process for other companies, if I had to guess.
But you're going to see them in credits. You are never going to see their logo in a direct.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. As someone who works at a porting studio right now, listen, you're never going to see that logo in a presentation. And then the other thing, the other studio is NST, or Nintendo Software Technologies, which is a building that is on the same street as Nintendo of America headquarters.
Yes.
It is not the same building. It is not the same company. You might know them as the people that made all the Mario and Donkey Kong games, as well as the Mario Galaxy remasters for Switch, as well as what's the? Why am I blanking on it? Oh, the 3D World port.
Yeah. And to give context to that, didn't NST used to basically hire people fresh out of Digipen? Like, this is
yeah. And so NST is not just a game development studio. I will stop there, but I will say that they have other roles at NST that are not game development, and that is
correct.
That is what keeps NST in existence. Is if NST was collecting Seattle salaries and their output was Mario versus Donkey Kong, the 5th one on the Wii U, they would have been shut down during the Wii U generation.
Right. Because they didn't do that much. But like F-Zero 99 they worked on.
Yeah, they did F-Zero 99. They do
modest projects.
They do a lot of things that have interesting engineering problems.
Yeah. They're specialists. That
is a great word. They're specialists. Just like nerd in Europe are specialists.
Yeah, like I am arguably a specialist in my company. I am deployed to projects that need someone with a very specific skill to go in there and try to unpack problems that exist. And a lot of times I parachute in and then I am extracted out of it when that's done. And like there's a role for that in a company as big as Nintendo with so many, like, not just internal projects that are going to need somebody, but like major publisher comes to you, they have a game, we'll say Pragmata, and they have a Switch 2 dev kit. It's still new to them because Capcom would have started on that relatively soon after they got the damn dev kit. And they're like, hey, we can't get this thing to work. This is where Nintendo having a specialist team might be like, you guys go help them figure this shit out. And I'm not saying NST would have worked on, but like that's the kind of thing having a specialist internal group like that would do for partner relations of like, can you help us get this fucking codec to work on your console or weird shit like that?
Yeah. And I will say, I don't think I could say this. I don't think I say anything about Nintendo, but I will say that Microsoft, as a first party example that is also in Washington, has a team that is publicly known that does exactly what you're talking about, and they're called the Advanced Technology Group, ATG.
Right.
Like
not only in the same general area around it too. Like they're very close to each other.
You can swing by as someone who has done this before. You can just get on the bus and go from one to the other in like 20 minits.
Yeah. And they probably pull from a lot of the same engineers.
Yes. So yeah, it's interesting.
I wonder then, like, if you're a major publisher, let's make it a tier 2 publisher. Now, let's not go to like an EA level.
Okay.
Let's go down a tier.
Bandai Namco?
Yeah.
But specifically the games division, not Bandai, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah. They're if you look at what they make, they seem very cognizant of the attention economy not being the thing they're trying to monetize as much. Like they make plenty of fucking weird ass service games. They do. But they're like incredibly, I can see the seams where you cut the budget level cheap. They had that Dragon Ball one that came out like a year and a half ago.
Which one? Sparking Zero?
The one that was basically Dragon Ball with the Battle
Dead
Royale.
By Daylight?
Dead by Daylight. Yeah, the Dead by Daylight one.
Yeah, that one. Yes, that's not Sparking Zero, but yes. No,
Like, you can see every cent that was spent on that game, all 8 of them. Like, they make these, but they don't fucking throw money at them. They're very.
They try.
Like,
they try, and if something pops off, they will invest.
Right, but they just go like, here's this like 80% of a prototype that we're just gonna release and get Nintendo to mention it.
Well, that's the thing that you can do. So that's not even. Bandai Namco can't get that by being Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco can do that by being a licenser.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
If you put Goku on something, it will get eyeballs.
Yeah,
there's your fuck the Ten Commandments. There's your episode title.
Put Goku.
If you put Goku on something, it will get eyeballs.
Like I guess now the challenge for them is their attempts at service games are more like fighting things, where they're trying to get you to buy season passes there.
Well, no, their attempts at service games are on mobile.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. And mobile games, like a high-end mobile game, what does the price look like for that?
So here's the world for mobile, and people are gonna hate this, but this is kind of what I was talking about Star Wars Hunters. You make a game, you put it out for make it for, I want to say maybe
20 million?
No, 100.
Okay.
Like 1 million, like 800,000. Like you make something really small.
Yeah.
And
okay.
You put it out in one country, and you see how it does.
And for those of you who are 800,000 is like 5 employees a year.
Oh yeah. To be clear, this is like you make something in 2 months.
Yeah.
And it probably doesn't even have your branding on it. You make something, you put it out, and you see if anyone bites. And if it doesn't, you scrap it and you move on and you pretend it never happened. And frequently, a lot of companies will do this not under their name.
Yes. And companies have been caught before because they use the same mailing address.
And so you try things and you keep experimenting and you do low budget, find a hit. And by a hit, I mean something that disproportionate to the effort in.
And then succeeds more than the things you've been trying, and
then you try out your different models on it. You might sunset that one and launch 3 more that are just like it, and keep going from there, and you keep going from there, and you keep going from there, and you keep fine-tuning, and then you build a budget.
And see, the challenge with that is, we talked about it with PC and Discovery and just shit coming out on your storefront. Yeah. Mobile's even worse than that.
Yeah, no, mobile is a lot. So the thing that is different on mobile than it is on Steam and that it is on console is that you can buy SEO search terms.
Yes, you can.
So I can buy Minecraft. Like it's an expensive term, but I can pay for Minecraft. And if someone searches Minecraft, I can put my app above Minecraft in the store. I can put it at the very top of the list. First thing you see, download. On the store while someone is in acquisition mode. While they are attempting to download something.
Actively trying to buy something. So like, I'm going to search for Minecraft in the Nintendo store right now. And and the search did its job. I got a bunch of Minecraft stuff for multiple screens and didn't see a single but of course Nintendo has protected that term, I bet.
I bet they have, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like you could, like the SEO terms, it's like it'll be like and I'm talking about this for both Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Right.
But
they are for
both
sale.
Both of them, they're for sale, and crucially, it'll be like Google.com SEO, where the most sought after terms are going to be very expensive. And
yes.
if it were my job to acquire users, and I were good at my job and maybe a little ruthless, the day that Balatro blew up on Steam Next Fest, but before it was out, and especially before it was out on mobile, that Balatro search term probably really cheap compared to what it became.
Oh yeah.
So then I might have tried to make a very quick Balatro type game, thrown it up on the store and seen what happens. And then iterate. And this is not how you get art. but this is how you get stability on mobile. This is like almost the only way to get stability on mobile. Very interestingly, Nintendo... I mean, we've talked about this like almost every single time I've been on the podcast. Nintendo basically accidentally stumbled into a successful mobile game with Fire Emblem Heroes. It is so funny that like they've launched like 10 mobile games and one of them has been a success and it was an accident. And then they can't recreate it, so they just stopped. And then they came back for one more Fire Emblem game and that also failed.
That game had a 2-month anniversary update icon. I'm like, 2 months.
That game is still getting. There was an update on the Nintendo Mobile YouTube channel yesterday for that game. They're adding.
Oh no, I was just amused that they did a custom icon for 2 months. I'm like, it's only been 2 months, bro. Calm down.
Yeah,
it's like when you date somebody in high school, and it's like an accomplishment to date them for 2 months.
Yeah, it's our 2-week anniversary.
It's our 2-week anniversry dinner.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
We're going to the good McDonald's this week.
But Square Enix, very interestingly, I've talked to you about this, James. I don't think it's come up on the podcast. About 6 months ago, they shut down all but 2 of their mobile games. They just straight up shut down like 24 mobile games at once.
Which is wild.
Because they are not a company that has been doing this iteration. They are like steadfastly stubborn, like they are going to make games the Square Enix way. It's very interesting. I will say that they launched a new Dragon Quest game 2 days ago, and I downloaded it, and I can't get past the title screen because the title screen doesn't. It says tap to start, and then I tap it, and it shows me indications that I'm tapping, and I just can't get it to start.
Perfect.
Which is like, great. I guess you don't want me then. Like, they've patched the game since then, and I was like, well, this let me in, and the answer was no. And I've restarted my phone, it's just like, I don't know what the fuck's happening with that one. But regardless, they just shut down like everything that wasn't one Dragon Quest game and the Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis game. And then the Octopath mobile game, which was like successful, they just gave the rights over to NetEase instead, so that NetEase now publishes the global version, so that Square Enix could move their localization and community management team off of it.
Wow.
Because a live service game takes up resources that that a lot of players aren't thinking about because it's not just content generation.
Because you have to translate all that content into 1 million languages.
You have to translate it. You have to communicate. You have to do community. You have to do marketing. You have to do messaging. You have to communicate with the players every single time there's an update. You have to. For a lot of games, players need to be able to feel heard, even if that isn't being immediately turned into actionable feedback. A big role of a community manager for a live service game is to live in that community and actually hear what the feedback is. And it's a thankless job, but it's very, very important for a lot of these things. Like Square Enix built up a lot of people, and that's
It's an infrastructure that you have to develop over time.
Yes, it's an infrastructure, and they started scaling back on the infrastructure because I think they're just like, if we're going to do mobile, we're going to do another attempt. We're going to go at it another way instead of live service AA games, which is what a lot of their mobile has been. They've done a lot of gacha as like monetization model, but in terms of like game production pipeline, I've shown you screenshots of Square Enix mobile games, and every single time you just say, what the fuck, why would you do this? Because it is like, oh, that's that looks higher fidelity than a III/AA, whatever the fuck you want to call it, PS5 game.
All right, so do you remember, you'll remember this, Syrenne, but John, you might not. Sega did a reboot of one of their franchises back on, I guess this would have been PS4 era. With an anime and a mobile game.
Yes. Oh, I know.
Syrenne, would you care to remind everybody what that game was?
Oh yeah, Sakura Wars.
Yeah, and somehow they made the mobile game cost as much as the PS4 game.
Oh, I thought you were going a different way. They're celebrating the 30th anniversary right now. They're about to announce something new for it.
Oh dear God!
I think we might be back on another mobile game that costs the same as a PS4 game.
Yeah, so they released a PS4 game and a mobile game at the same time. Everybody didn't like the mobile game. It came out later from Sega themselves that the budget of that mobile game was the same as the PS4 game. It's completely nonsense. But their thought was, well, it's a Sakura Wars mobile game with live service stuff. We'll be able to keep remonetizing. Brother, you hadn't released a Sakura Wars game in like 10 years. And that was on Wii and a PS2.
Essentially where mobile is at is you don't want to invest high art budget, high production value until you feel like you have something. Like, mobile is ruthless. Like, mobile is where every analytic is being optimized with, like, by the skin of its teeth. It is less optimized. Like, I think a lot of people look at a lot of the analytic stuff that happens on mobile and a lot of the player tracking and stuff, and very rightfully, because of the state of the world we live in, assume that it is to be as predatory as possible and to manipulate psychology and find whales, etc., etc. And I'm not sitting here saying that doesn't happen. I want to be very clear.
There are games where that is in play, but
what I will say is, for a lot more often, what is actually happening in 2026 is the production pipeline of a live service game is so resource intensive and so expensive, and like the yield is worth a successful yield is worth it. Nintendo struck fucking gold with Fire Emblem Heroes. Do you know how much money that game still makes 9 years
Which is
later?
crazy because they make it so easy to get spins.
And crucially, they make it so easy to generate new assets. It's 4 PNGs. It's you code in the new abilities, and it's 10 voice lines in Japanese and 10 voice lines in English. And that's a new character.
Do you think that the success of that game is why we haven't seen anything else from them in mobile?
No,
well,
they
it's
tried. It's because they
they
tried like 10 other things, and every single one failed except for that one.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yep.
That's why you saw Fire Emblem Shadows, is because that was their experiment to see if it was just the Fire Emblem audience. And the answer was no, because Fire Emblem Shadows tanked because it wasn't a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it is technically a game in that someone wins, but that someone that wins is almost always the players who aren't the monster. Like,
I love coin flipping.
It's like the monster part is so like, but if you can fool them, but you can't fool them because they can see everything you do. It's like the social deduction part of that is just, did you look at the game while it was being played? It's like, if you didn't observe the game at all,
my understanding,
you might be able to fail it.
Just as a very small aside, my understanding on Fire Emblem Shadows, here's a Fire Emblem Shadows update, just at the very, very, very periphery, is that they have tweaked all of the game balancing so that it is no longer a social deduction win condition, so that the social deduction is now vestigial, and now it is just a pay-to-win about, do you have the high-end character? Because if so, then you are more likely to win the auto-battler PvP at the end.
God, yeah, because early on, that game was just like, are you the monster? Congratulations, you lost.
Yeah,
because it was.
And now
it is. So
are
bad.
you the monster? Now it's a branching path. Do you have the latest character? No. Congratulations, you lost.
I only ever saw the monster win one time, and that was me. And one of the players, I think, was for lack of a better term, AFK, just standing there. I'm like, aha, victory.
This is what I'm saying. I'm like, look, it was one of my greatest accomplishments to convince you to actually try that game for yourself.
But all right, but I want to talk on this though, because I talked to somebody who, I don't think they do it anymore, but at one point wrote about anime a lot, and so they still have very strong feelings in that space. And one of the things that got them to kind of disengage was, it felt like every fucking thing in like the summer season anime in particular, was just a tie into a mobile game. Mm-hmm. And what I'm looking at a list of anime that came out last season, and like, I would say a solid 10% I can ID is, oh, that's a tie into a mobile game, which means there's probably another double that I don't know the random Japan-only mobile game to go with it.
It's probably 15 to 20, yeah.
So,
either adaptation or tie-in.
Yeah, so are these just part of the marketing campaign for these mobile games? Because I'll tell you, these are often incredible. Not always. Some of them are like really elaborate and expensive, but a lot of them are like cheap as fuck anime that look like it's just dog shit. But they're on TV Tokyo at 9 p.m. on Thursday.
Is it advertising? No. Is it player marketing? Yes. It is marketing, not advertising.
Because it is, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's really about trying to get funnel people into the game.
No, it is about trying to create more touch points for a brand for people who are already familiar with it.
I see. Because I figured it was for, like, trying to make the name more known so that people know what Idol-ish, spelled IDOL lowercase I-SH 7, know what that is so that they can then sell their fucking mobile game that goes with it.
No, for lack of a better phrase, that's what the subway buyouts in Tokyo are for.
Oh my god, they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous.
When I was in New York in January, I took a photo because Arknight's Enfield bought out Grand Central Station.
It was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous.
Is crazy.
And I was like, what? And I looked around and I'm like, did you think that you were in Japan? Like, this is not going to convert here the way that you think it is. Also, to be clear, that's the PS5 one.
Yes.
And yes. I'm like, this is not going to convert the way that you think it is. I mean, it's also on mobile, but it's like Genshin Impact style, very large. Very, like, it's going for that audience. And I was, I took a bunch of photos because I found it very funny.
Yeah.
But I was like, this must be a fucking vanity spend because the director of this game is going to be here for a business meeting. And
I mean, that would make sense.
Game looking successful. Like, that's the only thing I could rationalize for why they would spend that much money to buy every ad surface in that place. It was 100% of ads.
Like, I'm going through various seasons here, and like Kay's Daily Doodles. It was just like we made an anime based on this fucking mobile app. Why? I don't know. It's like there's gotta be some weird tie-in of like.
I will be honest.
Yeah.
A lot. So I mean, this is like an aside of an aside of an aside. So I'm going to be as brief as I can.
Yeah.
The way the anime function is by production committees. Production committees are, for people who know Nintendo, the Pokemon Company is a production committee.
Yes.
In video game form, it is multiple companies that come together as a joint venture and work on one project, and they all invest, and then maybe that committee has some project managers, and then they actually execute the thing, and then usually the committee will dissolve. And obviously, the licensors get to be part of that project committee, but more often than not, it is also like a bank that will see an IP and feel a lot more comfortable bankrolling a production that will keep an anime studio afloat, that will give advertisers something to sell against.
Ah, I see.
Like, if it has an IP. So it is going both ways.
And just to be clear, I didn't pull Case Daily Doodles out of nowhere. It's relevant to what we're talking about. It's the Arknight tie-in.
Yes.
It's so weird. It's like, it almost feels like, at least in Japan and China, they've accepted that like these mobile things almost certainly can't succeed on their own. They have to be part of a larger structure.
Well, they do succeed on their own because it's usually the thing debuts. It's usually game premiere. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that MiHoYo wasn't a known quantity before Genshin Impact.
Sure, they were, but they weren't where they are.
When Genshin Impact shows up, that is a game first. And I was seeing people talk about Genshin Impact 1 year before that game became available. That game, people were looking at that game and saying, I want that game. Now, was the reason because that game had to aggressively patch out some potential plagiarism for Breath of the Wild? Yes.
Yeah, It sure did. Those early screenshots were like
that game. In its 1.0 form, even put fucking Palworld to shame because I just walked up to a Bokoblin camp and it was 1-to-1 with one from Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
We joked about it when Breath of the Wild came out, like, oh, this game's gonna get ripped off so much. It really wasn't, but the people who did it really leaned the fuck in. They're like,
they didn't bother.
It's really hard.
We're gonna use the blue energy scheme. It's like, you just picked the green. Could have gone with yellow. Why has it got to be blue?
No, my stamina meter is going to go at exactly this deceleration rate because it came to me in a dream.
Yeah, it's like
right.
That Ubisoft game that they did, can't remember what it was called now.
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, they even had like the color for energy stuff, not stamina, but that game. Like the weird magical aura was blue in everything in Breath of... It's the same fucking shade of blue.
That game was so clearly Ubisoft at E3 2016 sent 5 people over to the Nintendo booth, play that demo, come back, report everything,
it was so weird.
Put it into a pitch deck, get started.
It was so weird. It's like
you better be in pre-production in 1 week after E3.
Just pick a different color, man. Just go to the color wheel and just pick one at random that's not the same one.
I will not.
It's try at all. But like I'm looking right now. I am on this list of oh my god, that's so many
anime. Yeah,
that's so many. It just keeps going.
Taking it back to the state of the industry.
Yeah.
It is like anything you can do to fucking de-risk is so essential because a dollar in is so infrequently a dollar out. I will say, this is not what anyone wants to hear, but it is reading the tea leaves, the wind on the sails. James, did you see the Iron Galaxy layoffs that happened within the last week?
Okay, you had to clarify because it's not the first one. Yes.
No. Okay. Did you read the letter from management, aka Dave Lang?
I did not.
Okay. So it's very open and solemn, and I really respect that. It basically says that over the last 2 years, they've been like most of their partners have been weathering the storm, basically saying 24 people were joking or not. It came out that people internally were hoping with the phrase like survive to 25 with the hope that like maybe the global economy will be better. At that time, people thought a certain presidential election might go the other way. And also that the Switch 2 would come out and stimulate some of the game buying economy and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Most of that did not fucking happen.
Right.
And so a lot of people have been like weathering and being like, get to better pastures, get to better pastures. Iron Galaxy has basically said, we have to make the decision. We have to make the flat out business assumption that this is as good as it's ever going to get again. And we have to do layoffs to get there. And I think that you are going to come, I think the last 2 years, the layoffs have been, we got too big, something failed, da-da-da-da-da. Like, there's individual stories behind all the layoffs, and I want to be very clear. My personal philosophy is that if you have a layoff over a certain percentage, your fucking CEO should take a, 90% pay cut, or compensation cut, not pay cut. That's just my own personal philosophy, but when I look forward, I think you're going to see a lot of layoffs still to come in 26, and I think most of them are going to be of that tone of, oh, it's just going to be like this for real now. Like, April 2026 is just going to be the industry for the next decade, huh?
And the term that you'll often see, this is usually what they say to the investors, is right-sizing our business, which is essentially saying, like, hey, we got too big. And I will admit, during the pandemic, I saw development teams explode at lots of companies where it's just like, grab resources and hold on to them.
I will say, a startup probably did not need 300 employees, as an example.
No!
A startup probably needed 15 and a really good set of contractors.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the tricky part. And then what happened is it was like, well, we just need to get our resources locked down because it's getting resources is so hard right now. And
I mean, money was free. And then it
effectively, yeah, like interest rates were basically zero, and so you could just take out big stupid loans. And
then
also,
you know the fun part about loans?
Well, you have to pay them back eventually.
Yeah, it's paying them back. That's the fun part.
Yeah, like I refinanced during that, and I got like 2.2% on a house loan. Which is absurd. Like the bank will literally not make any money on that loan. They will have spent that just to doing the fucking paperwork.
Yeah,
but liquidity was effectively free.
Yeah,
and so as a consequence, the companies were like, "We'll just take out loans and we'll make it up when we hit it big." And no, you won't, because you won't. But yeah, I mean, it's weird because on top of that, there are other economic pressures on companies, and I could say this firsthand with the company I work for. Like, there is the money is people aren't fungible,
no,
but money is, and so if your costs of materials, if you produce something physical, for example, have gone up. You have to make that up somewhere, and this is relevant in the Nintendo case because, of course, they now had to pay. They're going to have to pay more for materials to produce their products. They also.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Something in Nintendo's ecosystem has plastic in it?
Yeah, or silicon.
I mean, silicon, yes, but like, hang on, what, John? What makes how is plastic made again?
I think it's with something called oil.
Oh,
yeah. That's a factor.
Are there any like passages on the planet where oil travels?
No,
not anymore.
I'm trying to give you a straight answer, but I just can't.
Yeah, not anymore.
TSMC, this company who has a weird stranglehold on significant portions of the economy. Getting their production line time is going to be a problem. So, now, Nintendo, I'm sure, negotiated a big, long fucking contract which protects them for a while.
Yeah, so here's the thing about TSMC and Silicon and RAM. And this is something that I actually can speak to, because I know this answer objectively.
Yes.
And this is public. So, for people who are curious about what the fuck is going on with RAM, that is when I was listing off like the questions about GDC, I actually spent a lot of time explaining this to people because I know that is an answerable question. What is happening with RAM?
Yes.
So the answer is that there is a rare earth mineral. Essentially, all you need to know is that what a stick of RAM starts as is a wafer-thin sheet of like a certain like silicon carbide. It's very, very specific, and it's very, very brittle, and there's only a few manufacturing lanes that can like handle it. But it starts as that raw material, and that raw material then gets converted through the manufacturing process into literally every single type of memory. That is DDR4, DDR5 integrated, like 2 megabytes in your refrigerator. Like, that is every single type of RAM starts as the exact same raw material, and it is only safe to excavate so much at a time.
Yes.
Therefore, there is a physical cap that of you cannot get more than X. Unfortunately, some people are out here saying, in 3 years, I'm gonna need $1 trillion worth of that, please.
Right, which would require you find other places you can mine it.
Yes, but what
also, it's incredibly environmentally destructive to extract things like gallium, germanium.
Yes,
and I'm trying to think what other lithium.
And so what this means is, essentially, all RAM, all of this material, all this
dysprosium.
Raw material, is just spoken for the next few years, on the off chance that this order goes through. And if it doesn't, we'll just go down the list, because there's like 10 people in line that are all saying, I want $1 trillion of this.
There's essentially a priority order,
and you have to go like 10 people down before you get back to normal, even close to a normal order.
And to put in perspective, there are people who are hunting for places where this material might be. Because historically, it's not been something we mined for. It's not diamonds, it's not gold, it's not silver. It doesn't really serve a purpose until we had the integrated circuit, essentially. And it wasn't really a concern for getting more of it because the demand wasn't there that outstripped the supply. I think they mined a lot of it in Sierra Leone, they mined a lot of it in China. And so it was kind of easy to get it to where the manufacturing was happening. It was available enough that it wasn't a problem. And so, like, we never really did exploratory mining in the U.S. because there was no reason to. We weren't going to mine it here. It's like I said, it's environmentally fucking nightmarish. Which
fracking is bad? It's so much worse.
You can say what you want about, the government doesn't protect the environment. From a mining standpoint, the U.S. does a lot compared to other countries. And no, you can't do that because that's going to fuck up everything. So mining gallium would be incredibly expensive to do outside of countries that don't give a fuck. And they found a big resource supply of it in Utah recently. Like possibly the largest in North America. Huge. Completely untapped. And would be worth gorillions of dollars. But there ain't no way they're going to extract a single fucking gram of that shit for a decade. Because you got to go through all the environmental checks. You got to build a fucking mine. You have to put together the extraction capability. You have to put together the ability to refine it, because you're just going to get a bunch of dirt and extract it from the payload, essentially. It takes forever to build up the infrastructure for this, assuming you have a source. And so it also means you have to invest a billion years in advance of actually getting any return on your investment, to what makes Metroid Prime 4 look like an absolutely tiny time scale. And interest rates are not 2.2% right now.
Oh, they sure aren't. And
so good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't see them coming down for another couple of years. Talking to financiers.
Yeah, and it's you're talking about extracting that. You're talking about 2 presidential administrations away that could disrupt your plans at any point.
Yes. It is a mess. And it is all a mess.
Yeah.
And essentially, when it comes to the global economy for RAM and the integrated circuit and just anything to do with unified memory, all of that was on a knife's edge precipice of collapsing at any time, and then Sam Altman woke up. Yes. And he said, yeah, I'll just take all of it. And then everything, and now I sent a picture to James 2 days ago when I was at a Best Buy doing something that's called a store check, and hey, here's 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM for $566.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for not that much memory.
That is insane.
Because that's where we're at. That's what it takes.
And some of this is speculation too. There's this idea in retail that you don't charge the price relative to what you paid for it. You charge to what it would cost to put one on your shelf to replace the one that's being sold. This is most practiced in gasoline sales, by the way, which is why you'll see gas prices spike When something happens, I don't know what I could be talking about. Before there's any chance it could have had a direct impact on the price it cost them to buy that, because they're actually charging you based on the cost to replace what you're taking out. Some of that does exist in retail, but it's more of an averaged number. It's like a mix. It's a mix of what they're going to have to pay to replace it versus what they paid for the product you're actually taking with you. Because what Best Buy doesn't want is they don't want empty fucking shelves.
Yeah, no. If they can find someone that will drop $566 on RAM, that's what that's there for.
That's fine.
And if they don't find someone that will do it,
the shelf's not empty.
Maybe someone else will.
Maybe somebody will tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's like getting to that question. There is a race to figure out something else to use instead of rare earth metals. Like there is, we're talking about the impact of AI without just saying it. But that's the drive to build data centers is one of the big. It's not that Sam Altman has a need for all of that silicon. It's that he doesn't want his company to be caught needing it and not having it.
He can envision a future where it is necessary, and he is the single greatest person in recorded human history at convincing other people to part with 10 digits plus of money.
Yes.
Unhinged. I would call it a grift. He would call it sweet talking.
And the thing is, like, the reason I'm not sure it's a grift is he might believe it, and that to me that's the distinction. He
was going to get Digital God through a chat bot 4 years ago.
Yeah, like he might actually like. To me, grift is you know what you're doing, and I'm not convinced he does. Like
that's fair. I'm not sure he's smart enough to know what he's doing.
I think he is incredibly good at speaking the language that makes investors open up their wallet, but more importantly, not investors, financiers.
I was going to say, imagine
different thing.
Imagine believing so strongly in Digital God that you're willing to become the 1300th person on the repayment list.
Yeah. It's bonkers. But one place that AI is being used very heavily is to essentially run automated tests of different compounds, because they can run millions of compounds in a day, to try to figure out, like, could this replace rare earth metals? And in fact, they found one for magnets, because rare earth metals are used in, like, really hyper precise magnets, and that's something where, like, they don't actually contribute anything; they're just necessary to make it work. They found, like, some weird iron oxide that can maybe take some of that stuff up, but if you could invent something that doesn't require I go extract gallium from somewhere in sub-Saharan Africa and then ship it to China for refinement and then ship it to Taiwan for manufacturing, you're gonna make $1 gazillion. Congratulations. And so there's this weird cycle of, like, we're gonna throw all of the silicon at figuring out so we don't have to throw any of the silicon at it in the future.
Yeah, it's pretty much the unobtainium problem.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Okay, so we're talking about this thing that's like, well, what's the relevant to games? What are you going to play your games on? Like we've sort of walked around this. Microsoft wants to launch a new console soon because they want to reset this console generation real fucking bad.
Well, console.
Yeah.
They're not calling it sometimes they're calling it a console. Sometimes they're calling it a connected device that plays PC games.
Connected to what? A piece of string? It's got silicon in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, and it doesn't have a small amount of silicon in it. It has very specific silicon in it. That's very expensive.
I will tell you, and I did not hear this through an NDA source, so I will say this out loud. And,
I mean, they've said stuff.
No, I know, but what I'm going to say is something that hasn't been made public, but I think it can be.
They have laid out lofty aspirations.
Years ago, before plans changed,
yes,
they were doing market research about the viability of a $1,500 console.
That is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And that was before RAM went up.
Yes.
I was just saying to somebody today that, really is kind of a lapsed, I would call him a lapsed gamer.
Yeah.
Or they have like an old Xbox, right? But I was man, I was telling them about how, like, the reason why I bought my PS5 Pro, and I said, look at the price of the PS5 Pro now. $850 US.
Yeah.
That is an absolutely staggering amount. And I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm the gamer guy that like buys all of this crap mostly. I'm like, yeah, that's too eye-watering. I would not pay that for a PS5.
We're very close to $1,000, and I'll tell you something. You know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have a discrete upgradable GPU.
I was going to say a good controller, but okay.
It doesn't have a screen.
No.
What if that were a portable?
This is why that whole plan. I get why Sony's there, because this is the very Sony response of like, the Switch made a lot of money. Oh God!
I'm talking about Lenovo.
Oh,
They just hiked their price today, I think.
Yes.
Of their
they did.
Lenovo Legion Go up from, I think, $1,400 to $3,000.
Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable price increase. Yes. It's a mess. It's a mess. But keep in mind, this is just okay. You need a device to play my video game on. I want to make a video game. I want to sell you my video game, or at least I want to monetize your enjoyment of my video game. I want to get my people's hands on. I almost said I want to get my hands on your video game. That's different. I want to get your hands on my game. That means I have to put it on something, and that means I need to know what the marketplace is going to be for things to put my game on.
Have you considered Roblox runs on a potato?
It does. But let's say I want to make a game for home consoles. It's the vision I'm laying out.
Good luck.
I know, but bear with me. How many years? You could just rough guess. How many years do you think it's going to take me to develop my big game?
Okay. Name one game as comparison for big. How are you defining big in this?
Let's go bonanza sized.
Oh Jesus shit. 8?
But not necessarily.
8
not
years?
necessarily the like. Not
Can I
necessarily
throw that on a soundboard?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus shit!
Yes. Let's say not necessarily with all the physics integration stuff that they did, but yes.
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say. 7, 8 years. Yeah.
Syrenne, let's say I want to make my game for the launch of. I can never remember what the generic ass name Microsoft gave their next
Project
generation
Helix.
of things.
It's Helix, yeah.
Let's say I want to launch with Project Helix. What year should I have started my game, roughly? 2020.
So they haven't announced a release year.
Yeah. Okay.
And I might have privileged information on that. So
okay. Fair.
I have to back off. I will say. Instead,
but we're talking about 5 years before Microsoft is even talking about the system at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, which
you
is
should,
not viable.
I will tell you that
when,
let's say you, as this hypothetical businessman, went to GDC and met with all the first parties.
Not John Ubisoft. Jean Ubisoft, yes.
Jean. And you went to the first parties. The question they're asking is unlikely to be, what's your target platform? It is going to be, what is your target release year? And then they work backwards from that.
Which, keeping that in mind, let's say I am making this game. And I am targeting, I want to be on the consoles that are bleeding edge, and I'll say 2027.
Oh, yeah, sure, 2027. I don't think any console's coming out then, but sure, go with God.
Well, I'm saying this 7 years ago when I started development.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So, 2020, let's talk very public information now. 2020, November 2020, PS5 and Series XS come out.
Right.
The average console generation.
Already targeting the successor to these brand new systems.
Yes. The average console generation is about 7 years.
Yeah.
So
this is fucked up.
Yes. So hey, You want to know who hasn't shipped a new game on this generation yet? Naughty Dog.
Yeah,
they shipped a game in 2020.
You're right, they haven't.
They shipped Last of Us Part 2 in 2020. They've remade both Last of Us's for PS5. They're working on Intergalactic. I will tell you, when that trailer came out, here is hot scoop information. I have this from 5 different sources, so I'm not going to burn anyone by saying this. When that trailer came out, that game was so early in development that the reason it was in a spaceship is because they hadn't locked down the biome of the planet that game takes place on yet.
Great! I love that!
Love it.
All right.
That is the stage that game was in development.
In my hypothetical big fucking game that I am going to spend, let's say my team is terribly efficient, 6 years on. I am working on this game potentially when the hardware that I want to launch on predecessor may not even be out yet.
So this is why, for the first 2 to 3 years of a console's life cycle, gamers complain that exclusive games for that new generation of system don't look dramatically different than the prior generation. And the reason for that, with a few exceptions, the reason for that is because they were only given access to the final tooling within the last 15 to 30% of that game's development.
I mean, go fucking look at Xenoblade 2. That's an in-house game, and they're like, yeah, we didn't know what this hardware could be.
Yeah, they had no idea. They thought they were going to be developing for Switch 2, and they ended up developing for Switch 1. Whoops.
Monolith writes, middleware and shit. They probably knew about what the Switch could do before anybody.
Yeah, it's so long ago now. My understanding is that the first 2 studios that were not in the physical
in the building
office,
in Kyoto,
in the building in Kyoto or in Tokyo, that were informed about the specs of that system were Monolith and Game Freak. The 2 companies that were most gonna have dire need of knowing what those specs were gonna be.
And they were still looking at their launch window product and going, "Oh fuck,
yeah,
what have we done?" So imagine when we talk about why are things rough in the AAA space, you're targeting ephemera against a diminishing
this is what
console space.
I will tell you this: people have complained about oh my god, this Final Fantasy VII remake trilogy project is taking forever. Are you fucking kidding me? It has been 6 years and 2 of the 3 games are already out and the third is already deep into development? That is unbelievable.
I would say it is taking forever, but it's understandable. It's this project, this is a long-ass project.
Understandable is what the same team is also working on. Kingdom Hearts 4, which entered development 6 years ago and has had 1 teaser trailer and 5 screenshots.
It's just some of this is, and we've talked about it, Square Enix internal management of what are you guys doing over there?
I mean, yeah, but why
do your plans look like this?
The answer is you're moving to the reason that FF7, a big reason why the FF7 Rebirth, the sequel, came out as fast as it was, and why the third one is as far in development as it is they're both still on Unreal 4 because the team just decided, fuck it, we're not learning new tech. We made remake in one engine, and we are just going to fucking use this engine and this tech stack exactly for the next 2 games.
What would be amazing is if the next console comes around, they're going to have to backport Unreal 4 to it.
I bet they are, because there's a lot of live service games on Unreal 4.
God.
But Unreal 5 has also just been a generational disaster. That's a whole other story. It is such a miserable engine to work with relative to 4. But
it's so weird. But all of these things factor into our core thesis of why shit's hard.
Yeah, money go up. And let me tell you, when you have to spend, when you made a bet because Unreal 3 was the cornerstone and Unreal 4 was the cornerstone. When you made a bet at the beginning of this generation that Unreal 5 was going to be where you needed to move your project, and a lot of teams made that bet in 2019, 2020, 2021. And now you have to find out that there is no standardized way for shader stutter management.
Yeah, and to be fair to those people, the Unreal 5 demos when they first came out were really fucking impressive.
Oh yeah, I mean, and like
they're really cool.
And like the tech stack, and like there's so much that engine can do. I want to be clear, it's not every game. Like Fortnite handles it, but like there's no consistent way for shader stutter. It is different on every game, on different scenes in every game, for different middleware, for different rendering pipelines. It's kind of a fucking mess. And that engine is just built in a way where they're really only thinking about Fortnite for that engine. And like, makes sense, But like, so many teams moved to that and then did not realize that they thought that, maybe, I'm moving off of Unreal 4, I can escape some of the tech debt, we're going to have like new middleware, we're going to start with new things, like people are going to be making things for like built around SSDs in this engine because this is an engine that is primarily designed for SSD-based consoles, and et cetera, et cetera. You make all those decisions, and you don't understand that knock-on effect that 2 years later, one, the audience fucking hates Unreal 5 because of what, like, the consistent problems that game after game after game after game have that are shipping because those teams moved to Unreal 5 in the middle of game development.
Yes.
But then also, even as games that are being made start to finish in Unreal 5 are now shipping, they're still running into these problems where these teams are needing to spend months and months and months of optimization work that they did not plan for in their original budget, in the original development. It's like, that is one microcosm. That's one decision that gets made that causes ripple effects that inflate the budget by months and months and months. It is not incompetence among teams when people say, we went over budget, we went over time, like this, we needed more resources, we needed more support teams. Like, these are just like realistic things that like you have to, for a lot of games in AAA right now, you have to lock your design doc 5.5 years before that game hits store shelves. And you want to know what? What the fuck happens if someone doesn't want an extraction shooter in 5.5 years?
Right.
Like, you make that decision 5.5 years ago. What the fuck do you do?
Or extraction shooter hits and you're a year out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like pretty much if you're making something that's popular right now, you've already lost.
Yeah.
Because by the time you get that game out, it's that whole genre is going to be old news.
That is like, you could feel how you want about Epic and Fortnite, but the fact that they turned that game around by just going like, that is popular, make it our game now, and did it as fast as they did is fucking wild.
Oh yeah, no, that's like, it's a story that comes with like, labor abuse, but like, yes, it is. Yeah, it is a remarkable turnaround. Maybe for the wrong reasons. And
it speaks to it's that, but also it speaks to that game must have been made in a way that is very flexible to extend it. Like, I mean, somebody did something in there that was like, what the fuck? How did you do that? But 90% of games can't do that.
Oh yeah, I mean 90% of games aren't built by the developer of Unreal Engine that can just change Unreal Engine whenever they want. Like, there are certain advantages that game had.
Yeah, and I mean the platform holders in theory should have this advantage to a certain degree, but like they don't.
How many first-party Xbox games are being made in Unreal Engine? I'm gonna say like 70%.
That's the one where I'm like, but they don't, because
Nintendo has a couple different engines for their games. Monolith-based engines. There's a couple. There's a couple Nintendo games that show Unity or Unreal as engines. There's a couple different first-party engines.
They just do whatever seems to fit their need, I guess.
It's honestly, it's like what team is working on it is like the first question. It's like, is this team already familiarized with this tech stack, and is this tech stack appropriate for this type of game? Because if the answer is yes, and sure, then you roll with it, because you do not want to spend 9 months of labor time, like,
just getting a prototype
and getting engineers' feet under them when they could be spent rapidly iterating on design, which is how Nintendo tends to approach its pre-production.
but it's this weird situation of like the trend chasing thing, and that goes back to your attention economy theory early on. We're at 2 hours. Holy shit.
We are.
Those two go hand in hand, because oftentimes the thing that ends up, for lack of a better word, being the trend that is chased, I guess is the way of wording it, are things that have dominated attention. So those are your extraction shooters are a good example. Before that, it was I can't even remember, your battle royales.
I mean, there was a gap between those two where there wasn't.
Sure, yeah.
Where if I'm being blunt, it was obbies.
Yeah, well, yeah, it still is obvious to some degree.
No, there's a lot of extraction shooters in Roblox right now.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, ultimately, it's this like, how fast can you get your thing out? But also then cut through the noise with something unique. Like we had our run of Vampire Survivors likes, to the point where the makers of Vampire Survivors made a joke with their new game as they called it another Vampire Survivors like, even though it isn't.
Yes, it's. I mean that, and
it
really
was more of a joke than anything.
Yes, and also on that, they're cloning the wrong things about that game, because they're cloning the gameplay, whereas. The thing that made that game successful is the fact that Ponko makes slot machines.
Yeah. Yes.
Correct. They are tuned in to that Las Vegas style exact
they know how
fucked
to
up
poke
dopamine management. That is why Vampire Survivors hits. If you like it, it's because that game is psychologically manipulating you. And I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I am saying that is why it is literally a slot machine by people who make slot machines.
Yeah. And like, but it still triggered this run of trend chasing of like, well,
oh yeah,
we'll
even though they chased the wrong part of the trend.
Yeah, and so that those games made it to market pretty fast. But if you're doing a larger scale thing where you want to trend chase, like, that's going to be years. And I guess that gets to the question I tried to ask earlier, but I don't think I was very eloquent about it. Why the fuck? Actually, this might have been when we weren't on the air.
That's fine.
If you're Microsoft,
yeah,
and your boss has just written this, I don't think the letter is anything in the letter itself is particularly wrong.
Oh yes,
there's
some things that are wrong, but yeah.
But like, nothing. It's like you've just factually fucked this up in a way that doesn't make. It's much more like
they're saying the subscription services are growing.
A lot of their things are hand wavy. They're just like, we're going to do this, hand wave. It feels to me like if you wanted to be, I don't want to say successful. If you wanted to be meaningful, and I'm drawing a distinction here. I view successful as a purely economic metric. You have made $20 septillion. Congratulations. If you want to be meaningful, I am producing a thing that has
cultural merit.
And has attracted attention in a way that is giving me cultural cachet to go with that merit. Why make the 6-year game? Because it feels like if you want to do that, you want to pursue ideas that aren't necessarily big and expensive, but are, for lack of a better word, loud ideas.
Because you have all of these studios that are set up for that, and you can downsize everyone. You can lay off half your fucking employees. A lot of people have been doing that.
Because, like, why you could, and I guess the challenge would be you don't have studios. Yeah.
Let's say Insomniac. Let's play a hypothetical. This is not true. I want to be very clear.
All right, so you're about to drop a truth bomb on us. Okay, go for it.
Let's say that Wolverine game that comes out from Insomniac this year is 4 hours long. How do you think players are going to respond?
Well, if it's a $70 game, they're going to go nuts.
Yeah, it's a $70 game.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but that goes hat in hat.
What do you think? What do you think if in 2.5 years they ship a $60 Ratchet and Clank game that is 3 hours long.
I think people would lose their minds.
What if for $60 or even $50 they ship a 10-hour long Ratchet and Clank game that looks worse than the last one?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that that they're using a brand like that has its own challenges.
What if Guerrilla Games makes a new IP, and that new IP looks less good than Horizon? And I think Horizon looks ugly. I mean, fidelity-wise. I'm not talking art direction, because I think the art direction of Horizon is horrific. But the fidelity.
The tech.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What if the tech is way lower scale? Like, it looks closer to Killzone PS4 launch game.
I would question. It's like this gets to the question though of why would you, if you're going to go that route, wouldn't you pursue an art style that benefits, that doesn't necessarily require that same level of fidelity, where you could make something that.
What art styles are people buying?
Let's go have Microsoft make their Tomodachi Life Living the Dream.
Yeah.
Okay. You laugh. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is like, I am actually very impressed some of that shit's running on the Switch 1. Oh
no, I get, like, I've seen it. Like, it is visually impressive, but it is also scaled appropriately.
Oh yeah, I mean that game's scaled. That game was that game was also something that could never really happen over here, which is to say, that game spent 7-ish years in pre-production. That game had a skeleton crew ideating for like more than half a decade before that thing entered full production.
As like a weird side project on top of their regular responsibilities.
Yeah. And like, to be clear, when people are like, oh my god, this game was in development for like 9 years, I'm like, no, that's not what that means. You just don't know how games work, and that's fine. I don't expect everyone to know how games work. But like, you could go look at those people in that interview that are saying, we started 9 years ago coming up with ideas. And you can go look at games they've been credited on. They have directed games in those last 9 years.
People were having a meeting every other week to talk about ideas they thought of.
Oh yeah, people were like, "Oh my gosh, that would be a funny scene." That's what you do for like 7 years.
While I was working on this other thing, I thought up some ideas. Let's put it in the Word doc.
That is not to say that work was not being done on that game, but that game was in pre-production. A full team had not been assembled to start coding and working on art assets and audio and etc.
It was very few people's full-time job.
Yes, for a very long time. If
anybody. Early on, it may have been nobody's. It may have been like a thing they're all doing on the side of their desk.
But like, Nintendo is an exception. Even other companies in Japan don't do that.
Oh yeah, I know. But like, it feels like there's no concept of scaling here. Where just like
Double Fine put out Keeper last year. Did anyone play?
No.
But Kiln is coming out. Does it look like that game's going to be successful?
Yeah. I wonder, like, Double Fine's an interesting example of, like, has that brand lost its cachet?
I don't know. They are really, really leaning on them. The Microsoft is really, really leaning on them.
I get that, and they
are. Also, do not underestimate the power of Psychonauts. This is the thing, is Psychonauts might be more valuable to Microsoft than Double Fine. But...
Yeah, I can believe that.
But that is a beloved IP that they managed to own. That has had 3 games, 2 of which people remember. Everyone forgets about that interquel that was VR only.
Cool.
But... Yeah, so... I look at Microsoft, and Microsoft is, for all their problems, including up to and including genocide, they are actively like putting out smaller games like South of Midnight.
Yes,
and
which they've now ported to everything just recently.
Yeah,
even stuff like Penitent as well.
Pentiment. Yeah,
or Pentiment. Yeah.
Pentiment is like, we didn't want to lose Josh Sawyer, so we let him do a passion game. Is basically how Pentiment worked. And, I don't know. Like, That's neat. People like those games. They have cultural cachet. Even let me put it this way: how many people would have played Pentiment if Game Pass did not exist?
Yeah, 100%.
And then the follow-up, because Game
That's
Pass
fair.
existed, how many people bought Pentiment?
Ooh.
I mean, I suppose in this case, I mean, Game Pass would be, you wouldn't have any word of mouth for that game
Yeah,
if
and then
Game Pass didn't exist.
and then question 3, the real kicker. So sales, etc. How many people subscribed to Game Pass to play Pentiment?
There's an expression in combat sports of have you ever sold a ticket?
Yeah.
Or did people buy a ticket because of the other things that were happening and you just happened to be on the card?
Yeah. And I want to be clear, I love Pentiment. Pentiment is great. It's like really, really interesting. I am not shit talking Pentiment. I'm not shit talking that team. I'm not shit talking Kiln or Keeper or South of Midnight. Those, especially out of Xbox, like I've been boycotting them for years now, but that's why I've not been playing the vast majority of these games. Really only when friends get me access to the games am I actually playing them, because then I'm not actually supporting the company. Even like those are the games that interest me, mostly because I think that Microsoft's been doing outside of Forza Horizon, been doing a pretty bad job at their big swings.
Yeah.
And it's their smaller swings that are actually interesting to me. With that said, those small swings are not sustainable. Microsoft does not buy Obsidian or Compulsion or Double Fine if they are not basically expecting to subsidize those games, those studios. And that is economically deeply unviable for any company other than Microsoft, where Double Fine is a rounding error. And that is San Francisco salaries. But like on the grand scheme of Microsoft, Double Fine's a rounding error. Compulsion Games is a rounding error. Undead Labs is a rounding error. Obsidian is a rounding error. Some of these other studios are not. Playground is not a rounding error at this stage.
No.
But
it's a big company at this point.
It's a big company. But like a lot of these acquisitions are small teams, small swings, financial backing, but also a change in corporate direction could shutter your studio at any time. And we're getting a lot of changes of corporate direction, so we'll see what happens. This is not me reporting anything. It's just me saying I'm really terrified for my friends at Double Fine, because they're about to ship the only other game they've been working on, and suddenly they're going to be an expensive studio that doesn't make money, that has no games that are close to shipping.
It's weird. Like I don't know what I'm going to limit it to publishers, because developers are seemingly at the whims of a lot of factors.
Developers are trying to put food on the table.
Right. They have less control over the situation that it's in front of them. Are publishers likewise sort of at the whims of the various platform holders? Or is it
where's their money coming from? Some of them are at the whims of their investors. Some of them are just desperate to try and and I don't necessarily mean investors in like the stock market thing. But like some of them are, but like some of them are just like, oh my god, like I'm gonna be blunt. I fucking hate the Saudi Arabian government. And also, I understand why EA wants out.
Yeah.
From a pure look at the industry, why is anyone still in this industry if they don't deeply love it? Do I think that Andrew Wilson.
Andrew Wilson.
It's Bioshock. Arian.
I mean,
we're getting close.
You're in the same ballpark.
Yes. Do I think that Andrew Wilson has love for games? No.
Would you kindly make another FIFA game? Thank you.
Be fucking for real. That dude has been the villain of like 5 EA games, from Mirror's Edge Catalyst up to every single Hazelight game.
I mean, the amazing thing is, it's not like, oh, we based it on him. It's like, no, we face scanned this motherfucker.
Yeah, no, he has been the villain of like 5 separate EA games.
It's like you face scanned your boss to put him in this. Did he know you were doing it, or did you have him in the office for an open house and just keep taking pictures?
Yeah. So, regardless, like, I understand why someone like him would look at the industry and how volatile it is and how unpredictable it is and just be like, I think it's time to leave. And potentially with the company, because that gets him the best stock investment. It's a whole thing. But publishers are, like, small publishers are just looking for, ringing every door, taking every phone call, just looking for anything that they can do to increase the success rate of their catalog. Because they're paying out developers, they're paying out themselves, frequently they're paying for marketing, they're paying for, game budgets, etc. Like, they're publishing, if done ethically, is a small margin business. You are paying for, like, in a lot of cases, this is not every deal, etc., etc. A publisher is paying for the development budget of a game, or at least part of the development budget of a game, and then they are taking a gamble with that developer on if it is successful. And if it is successful, that developer is still getting paid out a lot of money, like a very large percentage of that. I will say that the unethical lately has tended towards 50-ish% to developer, which I think is pure evil. To a lot of what ends up happening now is you get multi-structured deals such that, like, publisher puts in X number of dollars, and then when the money comes in from the sales, it starts recouping, which for listeners, what that means is you basically, if I spent $100,000 on something, the first $100,000 that are made would be going towards recoup, for example. So what it would be, for example, is 50% to publisher and 50% to developer until recoup, at which point the terms change, and then it becomes, or like 70% to publisher, 30% to developer. Like it varies, but the key idea is that at recoup, a switch flips, and from that point on, the developer starts making the majority of the money. Of like, okay, yeah, we have made our money back. We have recouped. We've paid for our salaries. We've paid for the investiture, etc. And at this point, we are taking a smaller amount, and that smaller amount is the royalty. And that also, like, incentivizes the developer to continue to help push the game, etc., etc., etc. The developer's making no money on the back end, then, like, what's the fucking point? But, like, especially when you do that at scale, you're missing a lot. It's about hit rate. It's not about, like, broadly speaking, unless you're Draknek, which I still work with, and I love Draknek very much, and Draknek publishes, like, a game a year, if that. Like, you're broadly publishing multiple games a year, and not all of them are going to hit, and you want to hit more often than you miss, and you want to hit big sometimes. And the big hits cover a lot of the losses. But from the publisher's perspective, obviously the developers, is devastating when the developer misses. We're specifically talking in the realm of publishers right here. It is a thin margin business.
A big hit can cover many losses.
A big hit, but you also aren't even guaranteed a big hit. Usually,
you're hoping, just a regular hit might only cover one loss.
You're hoping for moderate hit after moderate hit after moderate hit with a couple big hits, and you're hoping that your losses are small losses. You're hoping that you're not publishing a game, committing to a marketing spend, doing a big thing, and then coming out with 20 reviews on Steam.
Because a big loss can fuck you just as bad as a big hit can give you coverage, I suspect.
Absolutely.
And Greg, if Greg was here, he'd mention it, but this is also the opportunity cost thing of you sunk money. You didn't just sink money into a project like
a publisher has
you
resources
sunk time
for
and
X
energy and
games.
focus. Yeah.
Like I said, publishers are getting, like, it was hyperbole, but, like, the number I gave at the beginning was like 1,500 pitches for every one that they sign. Like, you turned down 1,499 games. And granted, let's thin out the bullshit. Like, the games that they're realistically going to sign. Like, I'm just going to, for example, say, I'm sure that Annapurna Interactive gets pitched military sims.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to, like, let's filter those out. I'm not talking about game-shaped objects. I'm just talking about, like, things that, like, are not a portfolio fit at all. Just people are just pitching to everyone. Right? Like, let's say there's 500. They turned down 499 games to pick you. And then you missed. And that is devastating for the developer. But the publisher is also not happy. And the publisher is probably blaming themselves also. But, like, market conditions, bad luck, bad draw. Oops, Silksong came out. What the fuck am I supposed to do about that?
Yeah, it could be just as bad as something else in your lane came out before you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. We were scheduled to launch in 3 months, and it's not even the same as, like, they picked our date. It's like, oh, Silksong came out 3 months before, and we're a Hollow Knight-like. What the fuck are we supposed to do now? Our whole market strategy was beat them. Like, there's things like that, right? And it's so, like, I do not understand. Like, I do not blame the audience for video games for not understanding how the sausage is made. But I do hold against them a little bit. There's a lack of empathetic curiosity. And by that I mean, people are so quick when a game costs, let's say, 40, and they thought it was going to cost 30, to rush to greed. As I will tell you this, I have spent so much time this year, and this might be my closing thought. This is like the thesis. I've spent so much time this year in the room with game developers, with executives, with everything, with the exception of executives at the head of multi-billion-dollar companies. Every single person is just trying to feed their family. Everyone's just trying to feed their family. And everyone's in this industry because they love it. Like James said, when we were talking about retro, they could just get another job. They could just get a better job. But they're staying in this industry because they want to be in this industry. And so often this industry tries to chase people out or blame people for fucking them over because they, quote, deserve, quote, unquote, something at a cheaper price or for free or whatever. Or it's always more morally ethical to pirate games or whatever.
And I would say you accepted executives here, but I guarantee you there are some mid-level executives at a company like Nintendo who could go somewhere else and get paid a shitload more.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But that's why I'm saying, like, outside of, like...
Because they've got that...
CEOs of, like, multi-billion-dollar companies, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're coming with a different perspective. Like, the Hiroki Totoki, like, current CEO of PlayStation, is probably not worried right now about feeding his family.
Oh, no.
There are heads of studios at PlayStation who are worried about feeding their family.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially when, it was funny, I went on the PS Store today, and the Destiny collection, the newest one, it's 90% off on the PlayStation Store right now.
Yeah?
Just bonkers.
It's like $7 when it's like MSRP is like 70 or something.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Like, value retention. That's the other thing. It's like, people are like, I'll wait for it to go on sale. How much sale? Oh, like 80% off. What? Like, like, what the fuck do you mean that, like, it's just so awful that people are like, this game, it's like big AAA game. Yeah, that feels like a $6 game to me.
I've noticed the funny thing is that Nintendo Switch app in particular, because it's the only one of the console manufacturers apps I allow to notify me of things. Like, I don't let the Xbox One do it. Anytime anything I have is on sale, like, I just get pounded. And the reason is, and they've talked about this, like, people will say, "Oh, I'm interested in this game," and then never come back.
Yeah.
And this is just the, like, we're going to make sure you see that this is on sale, please.
Here's the fucked up thing about Steam as an example. And Steam, all of their documentation is available without NDA. So this, like, Steam and mobile are the platforms I can talk about completely freely and answer literally any question about.
Yes.
Steam doesn't notify you if a game on your wishlist is on sale unless the sale is 20% off or more.
I get that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Which, like,
because
you're trying,
one, they want you to make the bigger sales.
With the exception of your launch day, and at that point, by being on a launch sale, you don't actually get more featuring. So if you want to step ladder your way through discounts, 5, 10, and 15% roughly sales have no value on Steam. It's like, because no one knows.
Straight to 20.
No one finds out. This is why so many games on your wish list, listener, start at 20, and in their sale life cycle, they stay at 20 for like a year and a half. Because they didn't want to go to 20 that fast. But Steam basically forced their hand if they wanted people to know that their game was on sale.
That makes some sense then.
That's why 20% is like the most common sales discount. It's for newish games. It's like so, because like Valve just decided one day, 20% feels like a good sale. Why? Yeah, but we're gonna enforce it. I mean, Valve is also the
round number.
Valve is also the fucking company that takes more money from less successful games.
Yeah,
their royalty cut decreases the more successful your game is. The more people who is being forced to serve bandwidth to, the less they'll take for it.
Like I can see the logic of how they got there. I can.
Yeah, because Epic Games said 12% and they were afraid that Ubisoft was going to jump.
Yeah, but like at some point it's weird. The whole thing. Yeah, Yeah.
They just wanted AAA to stay, and they didn't care if indie stayed. And you know who would care a lot more about that 30% on the first $10,000? Indies.
That's true.
Like, I don't know. I feel like Valve should probably take credit card processing fees exclusively for the first I don't know, $200,000. That feels fair to me. Like, Steam makes 90% of its money from 1% of games.
Which is crazy. But it makes sense, because 1% of games probably sell, what would you guess, 70%?
Yeah, probably. So, like,
yeah,
why the fuck are you charging more than credit card processing fees for, like, the artistic game?
I would say credit card fees plus some, because they do need to make a little bit of money on the transaction. Just to make it worth their while. Well, they had employee costs at some point, right? Of managing the whole setup and stuff. Like, there are some costs in the process.
Yeah. Do you know how much money they have?
I'm aware they have plenty of money.
Do you name one investor? This is like the one company that doesn't have to do line go up.
Oh, I know, because they're privately run.
Yeah, Gabe Newell just owns it. I don't know.
They're unlisted.
Yeah, and then he owns more yachts than any human on the planet.
Sometimes you need a flotilla. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, he's building an armada. I mean, every man has a right to do that. I mean,
every man's dream is to own all the boats.
Every man has a right to have an armada.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, the fact it's wild that they are a private company.
Yeah,
it is, and it's like they had some incredible foresight 20 plus years ago now.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's almost it's wild that they're still a private company. Like, why wouldn't you just? That gives you an idea of what the money number is, because he could sell right now. Like, if he just said, "I'm selling."
He doesn't show up in the building anymore.
Wait, why would he?
Yeah, he just collects the paycheck and does some PR stunt appearances. But no, the
you can't take a boat to their office.
No, it's in Bellevue, so no, it's landlocked.
Yeah, they should move their office to a place the boat can just come into the lobby. Fuck it.
They should just take a big bulldozer and just dig a dike all the way to the office from the ocean.
The best part about that is, John, that's a wall. He's going to take the boat through. It's late. We're gonna dig canals through some of the most expensive real estate in the U.S.
A canal surrounded by dikes. Come on.
Okay,
work with
fair.
me here, people.
All right. Anyway,
surrounded by me.
No.
It's fine.
God
I'm allowed to.
damn it.
I'm the only one of the three of us allowed to make that joke.
I was sitting there going, "Don't do it, Syrenne, don't do it, Syrenne."
I'm the only one allowed to make that joke on this podcast.
The long quiet. I'm like, she's thinking it. Don't
Of
do
course,
it.
I was thinking it. I was like, "Am I going to interject?" Of course, I'm going to interject, but when?
Of course.
Every second didn't give me more confidence it wasn't going to happen. It just made me more afraid.
Look, I am allowed to come on and make queer-friendly
That
jokes.
doesn't mean I wanted it to happen.
You know, I set it up. You knock it out of the park.
I want to go to bed. Is what I want.
I mean, yeah, I worked 10.5 hours straight with no lunch break. So
yeah, let's call it here, which is not leaving us in a more helpful place. I'm afraid.
no. So that's why I say the state of the industry is like poor. But I hope that anyone who listened to this can like get some level of insight as to like, what are people talking about behind closed doors? What's going on? What are people's thought process? Like I said, people are just trying to feed their families, and we're trying to get through this, but people are unfortunately starting to acclimate to this being the new norm.
Yes. All right. Well, that was a lot, and I was hoping that we get to do some new business today, but we won't. Just deal with it. So Greg, because Greg is very good at this, has sent me music because he knew it was going to be out. And so in celebration ? Of the announcement of Splatoon Raiders getting a release date, which is July 23rd, and a new trailer that kind of basically explains what this game is in more detail than they have previously. He has selected a song from Splatoon 3 called Surprise and Shine. It is a boss battle, Phase 3 from the Deep Cut bosses.
No.
No?
Deep Cut is the music band.
Oh, I see. This just says Deep Cut Boss Battle Phase 3, man. I don't know what I'm doing here.
How dare you not have played through the entire single-player campaign of Splatoon 3? How dare you not know the lore?
I haven't even played Splatoon 3 because I was like, another one? God.
I mean, that's why I'm excited for Raiders, is because it's just the single player.
Yeah. But Greg, thank you for picking music for us again. Before we go into that, emails, I should have done this first. Email, send them to rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. That's you know the email address, for the love of God. rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. Syrenne, thank you for joining us. I never actually said the show number.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Which is very funny, because we just got completely waylaid immediately. John was corrected. It is 972. So 2.5 hours in case you were still on pins and needles. I should play the intro music now, because fuck it. Thank you for joining us. I would say it was fun, which it was, but also not the most fun topic, obviously. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not so much for us, because we're all there, but like, it's just that realization of like, yeah, this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it were different, but it's not. I'm not completely hopeless though. Like I do think there is a place where the industry can get that things will be okay. I just don't know how we get there, if that makes sense. But if I knew how we would get there, you know what I would be?
A billionaire.
Yeah, rich as hell, y'all.
Yep.
Everyone would be buying.
I would also have a flotilla of yachts, and I would just take them. I would only work with companies with whom could support at least 3 of my yachts at one time.
Yes, the Jones Armada has come into the harbor.
Sir, his requests include us build a dock. We're in Utah. I don't know. I can't, it's in Denver. How does he plan to get them here? I don't know. He says they'll be airdropped.
Dig a dike.
I just like the idea of an airdrop my yachts
everyone.
to Denver. And on that, let's play some goddamn music and get out of here. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.